Matt, Mr. Difficulty Weatherman, what are we seeing in the forecast?
Really weak. This guy took off 2 weeks of work, didn't show up. The plebs were in chaos. They had no idea what difficulty was going to be like. You can't just call out sick all the time, man. People need to know their difficulty updates.
Did someone hear something? I hear like whining somewhere. I don't. Maybe it's in my office.
Yeah, that's about right.
So the skies are looking like a difficulty decrease coming up in a couple days, a rare one, as we thought we were actually going to get one on the last one, but then the blocks cometh quickly. And so we actually have not had a difficulty decrease since September, if you could believe that. And we're approaching February, so it's just been an absolute eruption of hash rate. We're sitting at, 61 for hash price. That is dollar per petahash second per day, measure of gross revenue on the network. And that's been pretty good. I mean, that's tracking about what we've been seeing around since the November time period, right? The election period where Bitcoin really just, from a price angle, ripped it upwards. And so while hash rate has kept pace, price over that time period has increased quicker, and so we're up to about 60, which historically you wouldn't be clapping for, but if you go back like 3 months ago when we were basically chopping in the 40s, you'll take it.
The dog days.
I'll hand it over to y'all.
Yeah, I think that this is like the thing to point out. We pointed out last week. I believe we've had 8 successive difficulty upward adjustments. See, 2, 4, 6, 8.
And the last one, remember we called it on the last show. We're like, it's going down, but we were wrong. Embarrassing. That's why you don't record on Thursdays. You record on the day it happens.
Also, why you don't call a difficulty adjustment until it's like the day of, because crazy things can happen to hash rate. Block times can increase or decrease at the drop of a hat. But we haven't seen this many successive upwards adjustments since the summer after China's mining ban. So I think that really puts it into context, because hash rate dropped like 50% and then it turned on. Then some of that hash rate was turned on across the world, or other miners were turning on. And then you had like these rapid adjustments because it was a black swan event. And I think part of the reason why we're getting a negative adjustment potentially this next one, Khan wrote about this actually in one of his hash rate index roundups, that the cold snap across the US is affecting hash rate in certain regions. Is that right, Khan?
Yeah, so we do see some seasonality in hash rate. And right now in mining hotspots around the US, there are some cold snaps taking place. So coming into this difficulty adjustment, we do expect to see a bit of a downward adjustment, given that some curtailment will be taking place.
Yeah, and I know miners are praying for that downward adjustment. Like Matt said, hash price has been at about $60 per petahash per day, which is juicy considering is at like $40 before Bitcoin ripped to 100K, but any little bit helps.
I was going to say, to put it into context, Matt, you mentioned, we're at the $61 mark right now. The average for 2024 as a whole was $64.57. So that number was obviously skewed by some of the craziness that we saw right around the halving, but it's a good number right now.
Yeah, hash price surged because of Rune stuff. And obviously last year was just like a super volatile year for it with the halving and everything else.